Okay, good afternoon, gentlemen. Hope all is well. It is the 10th of the 10th. It was interesting to see what the market was doing this morning, obviously, with events over the weekend. We obviously gapped down yesterday, but we recovered and then had a sort of a massive rally up, didn't we, in the end, going sideways. So, not sure what it's going to do today. We could continue down, or we could, well, who knows. But we're going sideways anyway at the moment. We opened down here. Obviously, we had a little bit of a flat bottom there, but it's just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's a bit hard well, it's going sideways. There's nothing I can see, any type of interest. I don't know, that one kind of looked nice, but it was going right into the midline, so you don't know. I'd have expected to get up to here, but it does seem to be finding some resistance along there. I thought that might be a bit of an overshoot, but it's definitely finding some resistance there, so whether it will push up to the top, who knows. We've got some news, but it's only medium impact stuff, 6 o'clock UK time tonight, so it'll be done and dusted by then. So, what's how you doing, pal? Indy, how you? Speedy, how you doing, buddy? Chris, how you doing? And Brick, interested to see what the large upward measured move working yesterday. Perfectly yesterday. I think, did we finish around here? I finished around here, wasn't it? Let me have a look. It was around about 5:30 time. Yeah, we'd had that push up originally, hadn't we? Which took us up to, I think it actually filled that gap completely, didn't it? And then we came back and then off it went. The trouble is, after we pushed up there, you just don't know whether we're going to try and retest these and come down, but it just took off. There was no real entry. It just went away from the EMA. And trouble is, if you'd have done something like that, maybe that really, somewhere along the lines of that, we had a break of it. You don't know whether we're going to come back down, do you? But then it just goes off. And then it sort of goes up, but at a sideways angle. There was a second entry along there, but the trouble is, it's squaring off there, isn't it? So it's risky taking that because you don't know whether it's going to trigger and then come back to the EMA. But it just took off around about the time was that around about 6:30 UK time and didn't come back to the EMA. Well, it came close to the EMA about 7 o'clock, but and had quite a strong push up. But unfortunately, there was no real entry. You just don't know what it's going to do when it's filled that gap, see? But there we go. I was done and dusted, so the one today. So I've got a few more. I've got another couple of PAs come online today. 2 more, as you can see. So this one I'm continuing, PA account number 36. I'll continue to do 2 contracts on this one. And every other one that comes online, I'll reduce to 1 contract. I like to have 1 because it gives me a little bit of head start, and then this generally would be expected to pay out before the rest, and that will give me some money to reinvest into building some more. But so I've got 3 online at the moment. 1 trading at 2 contracts. The other 2 I'm using, as most of you know, Replicanto, and trading those on a single contract. And I've got another one coming on in a couple of days, and that'll be a single contract today. So market is literally just open. So let's have a look at what we're doing here. But we've not. Would you call that a little bit low volume? But the trouble is, if it's going sideways like this, not many traders want to get into this. We certainly don't, do we? So if it is going sideways, so it's not very attractive to trade, really. Hence the low volume. Stop Hunter, how you doing, pal? So far doing okay. I'll be finally back up to my 4 PAs again, but I feel a bit different this time. I know where I went wrong, and I know where I need to really work. Does it take 24 hours before a PA shows up in Ninja Trader? No, it doesn't. It's very quick with Apex. I mean, literally, when I say quick, I mean literally 15 minutes. It's very quick. I only did mine. I couldn't get into Ninja Trader first thing this morning, UK time. They were doing some maintenance overnight, so I had to wait until I got back. I popped out this morning, did a little bit of shopping. I went to the gym early, and I literally did mine about maybe an hour ago just to check it was all up. No, but it's really quick. You get an email, you literally open your email, you log into your account, you pay the activation fee, then you sign a form, send it off, and literally, I would say 10 to 15 minutes, it's up and running. It'll come on in your, what's it first, you'll see it in your Rhythmic first, and then just check it's there with NinjaTrader. If it's not, just take NinjaTrader offline and then get it back up and running, and it'll be there. So now it's very quick. When I first started trading with, or first had a go at a prop file, I think was it something for you? I think was it. I can't remember. I forget what it was. That took a day or two. So it's a bit of a pain. I paid 140 this morning, but it's not showing. Have you signed the form, have you, Chris? I've never known it to take that long. Did you sign the... let me just get my emails up. Let's have a look. You'll get... if I drag my emails in, you'll get that thing come up there, and you just click on it. I've already done mine now, but you need to sign documents. But what you need to do, if it's your first one, make sure, and it does tell in the email, make sure you're logged into your account first. So log into your account and then click on, there's a link from your email. Let me just have a look. There's a link from your email. There is a high or low there, but I don't like the way it's struggling to get it. It probably is going to push up, but it's finding a lot of resistance there. So I think that's just too risky going along there, because it could turn against me. I think that's 50-50. In fact, it's probably more likely to go up, but look, it's just struggling there as well and there, so I'm not going along into that. Yeah, just check. But when you get your email, okay, now basically say okay, that was the latter one. We'll just say delete. Congratulations, you have passed your, drag mine in. Just like that. So it says log into your existing account before you pay. Before you go any further, basically, then you click that. That'll take you to the payment. You pay, and then once that's done, you fill the form in then. Which is, okay, it did push up. I had a feeling it may do, but it was risky, so. And then obviously you get that... that thing there, the agreement, which you go in and sign. I've already signed mine, but as soon as you've signed that, literally, I would say, keep saying literally, I would say within 10 minutes it's up and running. It's very quick with Apex. Okay, so it did make 2 points. I couldn't have gone long there if I wanted to, because there is a lot of resistance there, and you just don't know whether you're going to get trapped. So I'm just going to put that there as a risky one. But you can see it's touching there, isn't it? Went up there, turned down, went up there, turned down, went up there, turned down. You don't know whether it's going to try again and then fail. So it's just a bit risky, that one. Some of you might have taken that, but it's just too risky for me. Because obviously we are going sideways. We may get up to these highs, but you just don't know. So there we go. Yeah, if you've not got it yet, mate, I'm guessing you've done something wrong. But yeah, whatever you do, always sign into your account first before you do anything. So first thing you do, sign into your account, and then you click the link to pay. Once you've paid, you're nearly done then. And then you have that pan dev thing come up, which is the form you got to sign. Okay, so there's a failure there. There's maybe some people have gone short there. It's a second entry short, which is triggered. So if it breaks above there, we may push a bit higher, but I'm certainly not taking a trade here because it is very sideways. So that may work, or it may trap. But look at it, it's choppy, so just be careful here. Possible second entry long, but it's just a risky area here. So okay, so that second entry short did work, or has it? You may have got 2 points out of it, probably not, but it's just a risky area here because of that support. You can see it there, pushed above, bounced on it, came through it, bounced under it. So it's clearly important, that line. So you've got to be careful trading around it. there is a possible second entry long. Trouble is, it could trigger you, hit that line and come back down. So I won't be going long here, and I'm not going short either at the moment, just in case it does decide to push up and clip that line. My chart looks different. Okay, I have reloaded my data set, but I'll do it again. Often they will look a little different, not a lot different, but sometimes they do. It's just the way it is. You've got this live data which comes from the servers, which comes to my computer in the UK and to your computer wherever you are. It would make a difference on your internet speed. So it could be ever so slightly different, but we've crossed this bridge a bunch of times, and Max always said just trade your chart as you see it. Reload your historic data before you start. And what that'll do is get you in line with most people, I believe. So you literally just right click. I'll stop saying literally, it's annoying me now. So you right click, click reload all historic data, and it just updates your chart. And hopefully you should be in line with the rest of us. But occasionally, even if you do that, it can still look a little different. Okay, so we're having another go. It may get out. If it can hold above there, it may get out, because I mean you can see how important that line is. You can see it there. It used its resistance there. It pushed up, used it as support. Pushed down, used it as resistance. Push down, resistance. This is probably going to use it as support. So it's important, that line. Let us know how you get on, Chris. Yeah, it is risky trading around here. So there was a higher low. I don't know what that went for. I'm guessing it went for 2 points. Yeah, not by a long shot. If you'd have just got out for 2 points there before it came down. So just be a bit careful here. 1, 2, 3, maybe a triple test. I'm just not trading. I mean, it's quite a nice bearish bar, but you just don't know. It is choppy at the moment, so you get in a trade, it'll trigger you, stop you out. You too. Just update your so just right click on your chart and just click reload all historic data. It'll take about 30 seconds just to update it. So hopefully you should be in line, but just check everything as it is, as mine is up the top. ES 1223, the 2000 tick chart. Sometimes you can just open them up and forget you've changed them. So just double check that, and then just failing that, just trade your chart as it is. Just be a bit careful around here, because it's starting to look like Trap City. Oh. Okay, lower high there. I'm guessing it's going to come down. There may be a leg, but it's just risky to trade around here because it's bouncing off that midline and up here. So it's bouncing within 4 points or 4 and a bit points. There's not a lot of room for error there. I had an inkling it would come down, but it is risky, so I'm just staying out of it. I want something a little bit more less risky than that. Not only that, it is congested. Yeah, see how trappy it is. Look, if you'd have taken that trade there, just stopped you out there, you wouldn't have got 2 points out of that. So that's why I left it, because it's just risky at the moment. You wouldn't have got 2 points out of that. It's literally right on the nail there. So tick, you'd have got a tick below it, and about there, you wouldn't have got 2 points. So it's, see what I mean, how just risky it is. You think, well, yeah, okay, push down, pull back there, drops nicely, turns around, comes straight back out, stops at 8. So when it's like this, you just got to sit and watch it. Okay, the PA account has appeared. All set. Good for you, mate. Take your time. I won't say enjoy it. It's probably the wrong choice of words, but do you know, if I'm going to give you a piece of advice, the biggest thing I've learned is everyone risks too much. You risk too much, the pressure, you'll feel the pressure. If you're feeling the pressure, really you're risking too much. So if you're trading a $50,000 account, in my honest opinion, you will keep that account a lot longer and build it better if you're only trading one contract. Now, I've got 3 PAs at the moment. I have had up to 5 in the past. I have got another one coming along in a couple of days. I'm trading one of those at 2 contracts and every other at 1. And one contract somewhere around about the 5% risk, which is about as large as you want to go, really. So that's just my little 2 cents. But you'll feel the pressure less and you'll last longer. And ultimately, really, when you get your PAs, you want to treat them like gold dust, really, because you've spent 7 days waiting for it. You've paid $140 for it, and you don't want to chuck it away quickly. And I'm telling you that because I've done it myself, lots of them. One contract, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, you know, the one thing I've learned, and it's took me long enough to learn it. I'm a bit stubborn and a bit pig-headed sometimes. And I'm all right at giving advice, but not very good at taking my own advice. But I finally listened to everyone that's told me in the past. And it's pretty common. Everyone wants to rush, build the accounts. We all hear stories of how much money you can earn. And we just think about the money and not about the trades. And you put yourself under so much pressure. And it just makes trading bloody scary then. And full of painful days. And you want to try and limit those if you can. Okay, so leg there, leg up, possibly a leg up, maybe to these highs. Same again, I'm not trading because it's just choppy. If I was scalping out for 1 tick, I may have a go, but it's just choppy as hell there, and it's moving within a small range. So if you make a mistake, you're going to get nailed. Yeah, so it's trading really within about a 5.5 point. But if you come in at a trade here, you haven't got much room for profits. Sharon, hello. I'm guessing you're a lady. How are you today? I'm okay. So you're the first. Well, I'm assuming you're a female. I know the name Sharon in the UK is a lady's name. So you'll be our first lady, I think. I don't think there's many others. I'm a man, actually. Okay, my apologies. My apologies. Where you from then? So with that name, yeah, you're not. Yeah, that's the trouble, really. Are you from Israel? Oh, crikey, are you really? Okay, so I hope you're keeping safe at the moment, because things are a bit scary there. I have a friend who goes backwards and forwards to Israel quite a lot, and he was recently there. But yeah, it's just, yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Tough situation at the moment. Put it this rate, yeah, I'd rather be on the Israeli side, put it that way. I think when it comes to technology and just, you know, stuff like that, military capability, I think Israel are worlds ahead. But yeah, I have a friend, a stepfather actually, who was in the military in the UK and did a lot of sort of security work on and off in Israel and absolutely loves it. In fact, he's converted to Judaism. Is it Judaism? I'm assuming it's Judaism. He lights his candles and all that sort of stuff. But he loves Israel. He goes maybe 4 or 5 times a year. He's retired now, but he spent a lot of time in Israel, and absolutely he keeps trying to get me to go, and I will at some point. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking at the moment. Okay, there is a second entry short there, which is on here, but the trouble is it is very risky at the moment, and it has triggered, but I have an inkling that stop's going to get taken out, so I ain't getting involved in that. I got drafted a cut of it. Oh, did you really? Well, you stay safe, mate. You stay safe. Yeah, I did hear the news. I think they've drafted, what, 300,000 reserves, I think. Let's hope you're not needed in a good way. Let's hope it sort of all ends relatively quick. But, you know, when people come into your country and do that type of thing, you can't let them get away with it, can you? You have to do something. As much as you don't want to carry something on, you just can't do nothing about it, because if you don't, it'll happen again and again and again. You're a combat medic, are you? Oh, crikey. Well, let's hope things finish pretty quickly. But yeah, you know, sometimes I moan about living in the UK, but, you know, I also realise how lucky I am, because, you know, some parts of the world can be pretty scary at times. But yeah, let's hope it all... Stop talking about that, sorry. Okay. We're just chit-chatting here. Market's not doing nothing. We can't trade at the moment. It's just going sideways. So we're just... I like to know where people are from, what people are doing. And sometimes these things need to be talking about. You've got to talk about them. We need to know what's going on. But yeah, there's not much you can do here, really. There is another trader, actually, from Israel, the Gorilla guy. He lives just outside Tel Aviv. I think he's taking a break at the moment. Natan, I think his name is. Nate, I think he calls himself for short. Free Palestine. Huh. Soggy tomato. Winning 5 trades. In all fairness, it's just dangerous at the moment, in my opinion. It's very choppy. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. Very sensible. Yeah, very well put. Good point. Good to see you too, mate. Good to see you too. You're welcome anytime. Just drop in. It's always nice to have a bit of company. Yeah, so it is. We need to break out really, either top or bottom. I'm guessing it's going to be the top. And we often see that push up sideways and another push up, leg and a leg. So I'm guessing we're going to push out to the top side at some point. So let's put that there and put my second leg down there. This range has a bullish imbalance. Well, I've just mentioned that, so I agree. We got a leg up sideways. I expect another leg up. The trouble is, if you go long here, it could sting you. So, and I've been stung plenty of times. So I tend to just wait for it to break out and then maybe retest it. And hopefully, I think I was looking, if I remember right, I was listening to Mac last night and he was looking at the daily, and there is a possibility we could push up, but we did have a good push up yesterday of about, where did we, so that's where we opened. And what do we push up from there? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So we're up around 30 to 35 points on where that gap down yesterday. So we are due some upwards. I mean, we've had such a lot of bearish stuff. So I say due. I would expect some upwards in the coming days. 21 EMA on the daily. Yeah, I mean, it is looking like... I'm guessing that we're going to have I say I'm guessing. It was called an educated guess. but I would say there's a leg. Well, however you draw that, there's a leg, some sideways, and I'm calling another leg. I'm not taking anything just in case it comes up to here and turns down on me. But unfortunately, there's just no entry there for me, so I'm going to have to just let this leg play out, really. I don't want to be taking anything up here. We're away from the EMA at the moment, and you just don't know where it's going to trap you. I mean, we've just all of a sudden got up and turned down there, so there's a bearish bar there. I thought that might trigger some trigger and then push up some more, but I can see we need to get above this really and break above here and then maybe retest, and then we may have something there. But there is a possibility of something bigger brewing there. I kind of like the way it's touching. We touch. So I've been looking at that sort of on and off, but really we need to get above here and then come back and to see whether we get any type of upwards movement. So I'm just going to fade that out a minute because it's important, but not at the forefront of my mind at the moment. Sorry, Kev, I missed your comment there. Higher high. It's gone a bit too far for a higher high, really. My understanding of higher highs and higher lows, they need to be a bit closer. So that I will call a higher high. That one there, I wouldn't because we've pushed up and we've come back down. So that one we push up a little bit of pullback and up again. So, but that for me is a higher high. For me, that's gone too far. But the trouble is, everyone's got a slight different. Some people may say it is. I think most will say it isn't. Mac, I'd say, will probably say it isn't. It's more of just a first entry. But you see the mean there, we're up a little bit of a pullback and up again. That we've had a push up and we've come down a bit, and then we pushed at the start of another push up. But that is sort of in one move, isn't it? So if you draw that as that's a little short-term trend channel there. Somewhere around about there, yeah, short-term trend channel. And it's out of that really, whereas this one, if you draw a short-term trend channel, it's sort of still in the middle of it. So that is a higher low for me, that one. It makes more sense, doesn't it, if you think about it. So, this will be interesting to see what we do here, really. Yeah, I actually marked that one, didn't I, if I remember rightly. I spoke about that one. That's why it interests me. The reason I left it is because you can see there's a fair chance that it might turn around there, seeing if you get into the trade and it turns around and takes you out. That's not going to feel too good. Now, as it happens, it did push up, and a lot of times it will, but if you lost that trade and you posted that on a Facebook group and say, why did the trade lose? It would be because there's a lot of resistance there, and it's not just there, you can see it back. So it's clearly, providing an area where market's turning, the price is turning rather. So same again, you've got to go careful going long here, because although it is pushing up, it could turn down at this level over here. I mean, if it comes down here and there's a bullish bar, it is a second entry, maybe two little legs. It is a little bit congested though, so, and it is a little bit, it's choppy when it, that's how I don't like trading, when it goes up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah, it's going up a bit, but it's also, let me crowd it together, it's choppy, isn't it? And even if you drag it apart, it's not much clearer. So there is a second entry long there. It may work, it probably will, but I think it's risky. I think the market is trying to get out, but there is a bit of risk involved there, so I'm leaving that alone. You may take it, but for me, it's just a bit risky. Yeah, see, if you look on, I've got the 4,000 tick chart above me. I mean, look, that's where it is. You can clearly see. Doesn't get much more sideways than that. We do seem to have a bullish imbalance. Somebody mentioned that earlier. So I would say it is likely to push up. But when it's like that, it just adds to the risk, really, and it's not worth it, I don't think. I'd rather wait, even if it means I've got to wait here 3 hours and just get one nice solid trade. That's good enough for me. I can get a couple of points. You get that times 10 accounts in a day. That's $2,000 a day. You get that times 20 accounts. Well, you can do the maths. So there was a second entry there, but it was risky. Okay, so you'd have had 2 points there, but the trouble is the 2 points are above this line. I wouldn't want my profit above that line if I was going to take that. Okay, so that's my target. So whether we'll hit it first time around, I think it's quite possible. If we can get back down to here and start working off again, then I'd say we may have a bit of a breakout traders here. Yeah. Trouble is, I wouldn't be going short there because we have got a bullish imbalance, and that's to the upside, so you just don't know. Okay, so we've hit that nice. It is starting to look bullish, so I won't be taking any shorts at the moment. Well, look at that. So that's played out. No argument there. So I'm guessing it may pull back in a bit, but I hate picking these because it is in the middle of nowhere, really. Could continue up. What I've found is when I've seen stuff like this in the past, when you haven't been trading along and you see it going up, you think, oh, I'll jump in. As soon as you do that, turns comes down. Now, if you do nothing, it carries on up and up and up and up. It's frustrating. Well, that's why I faded it out. If I'd have thought it was for sure, I'd have had that on it like that, which is why I tend to I put it and fade it out as sort of a person of interest, if you like. But yeah, I don't colour it until it comes back down here and starts bouncing off here. So that may be an overshoot. It's hard to say. So if it's not an overshoot, the larger trend channel, it's doing something in there. It's an overshoot there. So I would expect it to come down for a bit. But at the moment, it's all right. I lost my chain of thought then. There is a possibility of a two-tiered channel, depending on where that goes. Yeah, see, so that's the trouble with taking a short there. Now it's clearly going sideways, but you can see the way it's come up there. It hasn't got to the top. It's gone a lot of sideways, and it's almost like gathering speed, and then up it goes. Trouble is, going short there, you're picking in the middle of nowhere, and look what happens if you go short, triggers and pushes up. I mean, after that push up and the overshoot, you would expect it to come down a bit, but we are on a sort of upward trajectory, so I just rule shorts out, I do, for the time being. And I stay away from stuff like that. I've taken them plenty in the past before, and they're a bit hit and miss. If I wanted to take something like that, I'd always wait for the lower high. Yeah, there is a possibility of something quite a bit bigger, but it is a bit early yet. It's a bit overkeen, that, in all fairness. EMA's come quite down, so that's dropped quite a bit. That is. Sorry, EMA, ATR rather. Hang on about that. Yeah, it's hard. The trouble is, it does actually look like a two-tiered channel, doesn't it? The channel you've just created, can you extend to the current top price? Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is fitting, isn't it? I think that's likely going to come down to the EMA. There's just nothing there, really. You can't trade that long, short. It's just going a bit sideways. That third bullish bar there. Reasonable entry. What to go long? Trouble is, if that is a 2T channel, which it looks like it is, I wouldn't want to be going along there. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but I would expect that to drop out the bottom to come down to the EMA. So no, lower than that. That one there, or down here, where the channel started. Okay, that one there. Yeah, see, I trade PATs, I do. So the trouble is, when we're pushing out of this, we've clearly had some resistance before, and I've taken trades like that before and held on to them. Excuse me a second. A lot of the time it'll push up and come back and retest this here. But that's not something I can take with my particular strategy, because my stop would go back here, so that would be too big a risk for me. That's the type of trade I would take. The only issue with that is it's clearly congested, so you just don't know. But for my particular strategy, I can see what it's doing. The bars are starting to enlarge, which indicates for me we're pushing up, but you just don't know. So my particular strategy, where my stop goes, it's just something I can't do personally. Sorry, but there are, like I say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's so many different strategies, but it does look like a 2-tier channel. So it'd be interesting to see what goes now. I'll be looking for something around here. If we can get back here and start to work up again. I can't bring myself to take stuff. I've taken trades before like that at the bottom of that top tier channel, and sometimes it will trigger you, especially when it's going sideways. Sometimes it will trigger you, and we'll keep working to the side and take you out. So there is a possibility we may continue sideways-ish to this area. And if it does come back and respects this a few times, I'll be looking to go long somewhere along there, hopefully close to the EMA as well. Greetings from Amsterdam. How you doing? You're not far away. I have this impression of everyone from Amsterdam is constantly stoned. I'm assuming that's not correct, is it? Everybody I know or have known goes to Amsterdam, tends to go there for the cannabis, I think. I just have this picture of everyone walking around with flowers stoned, and I'm guessing it's not right. But welcome. How you doing? No comment. There we go. Somewhere I've never been, actually. It's just never got round to it. I will at some point. Yeah, I believe it is. It's not. I mean, they did decriminalise it in the UK maybe 10 years ago for a short period of time, and then got rid of it. But I don't smoke myself because I'm a non-smoker. But when I was younger, I obviously did most do. I tried most things most people try when they're younger. But they don't tend to do anything here. I mean, if you get caught with it, it's as long as it's possession. I think you probably just get caution, slap on the wrist or something. But yeah, I know in places like the US, it is legal. I don't see a problem with it. In all fairness, there's a lot worse stuff out there. I think the tobacco does you more harm than the cannabis. Enjoying this channel. Boris, how you doing? Boris, now you've been on here before. I recognise that name. Obviously, our last PM was Boris. Apex versus. Okay, enjoying this channel. Discovery. Any thoughts on Apex versus Trade Day? As a complete newbie, can you suggest a UK broker? Okay. Okay, you don't need a broker if you're going to go down the line of prop firms. And in my opinion, if you're new, first thing I would do is stay on a sim or a demo account until you know what's going on. Now, you don't need a broker really unless you're going to trade your own money, because obviously Apex, you trade for Apex and their system. So Trade Day, I've not heard Trade Day, but I have traded with a few other prop firms, and in my opinion, Apex just cannot be beaten. I use them myself. Obviously, you can see down here, I've got some PAs, and I've got one evaluation, which is passed, hence just the micro, which is Apex. I have not found anybody that comes close to Apex, in all fairness. I've been paid out multiple times with Apex. I don't know anybody who's had any real problems with it. Their prices are really cheap. Sometimes I think too cheap, because you tend to treat it like monopoly money, really. But Trade Day I'm unaware of, in all fairness. But, Apex I'm solid with. I've been trading Apex for over a year, and I've got no issues with them at all. If there is any problems, they sort them out pretty rapidly. So I'm happy where I am. So I can't comment on the other one, but you're from the UK. So what are you trading? Are you trade any specific type of strategy? Because I trade PATS, max price action. Are you trading that style, or are you doing something different, Boris? Okay, so it's continuing up there. I mean, there is a failure there. In fact, that might not have been a bad trade, actually. But in all fairness, I just can't bring myself to go long here, because I've done it before, and it triggers you and comes back to here. So it is looking very bullish all of a sudden. But when it's right at these highs, I tend to not get involved. So let's see if there is any type of a different channel there. Let's have a look. It's hard to say that. I think it is more like that. I've on you twice now. Pacific's Paradise, Martin's there. There's cannabis shops. Smoking weed everywhere. It's crazy. Yeah, US is quite different. Although we're all Western society, aren't we? But it's quite different. The US from the UK. For instance, guns. You won't see a gun in the UK. I'll tell you that for now. You can grow up and never see a gun in the UK. So it's very different on that side of it. Obviously, things are a little bit more liberal over there. People don't like being told what to do, and to a degree, rightly so. But yeah, it is quite different. It's a place I've never been to. I will do at some point in my life. So we've pushed up a little bit. So you just don't know here, see, whether we're going to continue to this side. That's what I would have expected when it started going sideways, but it just depends. It depends what people are doing. So we're right at the top there. So let's see what happens here. I'd like to get over to this side really before I think about trading. It's just, I mean, it does look like it's going up there, but my issue is with my particular strategy, it's away from the EMA. You don't know whether it's going to trigger you, come back to the bottom of the EMA to this side and trap you. So unless I'm pretty certain, you know, and I take trades sometimes, and I can tell you that I'd expect it to work 98% of the time, certainly 95% of the time, and I just don't have the confidence to get in there. I'd rather just hold back. Now, it's obviously worked, but I have taken trades like that before, and it triggers you, and down it comes to this side, so you just don't know. Alligator as a pet. A chicken. Feed the alligators. Yeah, it's quite different than here, isn't it? You don't get nothing that can kill you over here, really. Apart from an angry wife, maybe. No, we don't have. We don't have anything deadly over here. No snakes. Well, nothing's going to do you any harm anyway. No spiders. Same again. Nothing that's going to do you any harm. People don't get killed by sharks here. We don't have earthquakes. Occasionally we may get a tremor once in a blue moon, but it's nothing. We don't get tornadoes. We don't really get bad weather. We're pretty lucky, actually. Loch Ness, yeah, of course. Sam up in Scotland has got Loch Ness. That can be pretty deadly, I've heard. They breed. Give some feed to it. How you doing, mate? Yeah, in fact, once you start travelling up the M6 and you get up towards Scotland way, you start seeing Nesses, don't you, in the petrol stations for sale. Big business up there, isn't it? Big business. I don't know, do they still do work on the lock? Anything to do with it? They probably still do, don't they? There's always something going on, I think, isn't it? I tell you what I've been watching, Sam. I haven't watched for a while. Is what's it called? Outlander. Love that. Great program. What am I up to? Season 6, season 7, I think. It's moved over to. It's not available on Sky now. It's moved over to. Is it Paramount or something? Or something else? Is it Paramount? One of them we haven't got. But that's great, especially if you like that type of thing. It's brilliant, brilliant program. I really enjoy that. I forgot about it. I really like it. I mean, she's beautiful, isn't she? What's her name? Balfe. Somebody Balfe. Katrina Balfe. Yeah, stunning she is. But the guy in it, I think, what's his name? Sam Heughan, and the guy that played his uncle with the beard. They had a little program on Sky. What's it called? They go around different distilleries, actually, in parts of Scotland. What's it called? Two Men in Kilts, it's called. They go around different distilleries and stuff like that. Just tour around in a little bus, it's like a VW bus. But yeah, if you want something good to watch, Outlander, great that is. Great program, bit of supernatural there. Scottish countryside, great. Back in time, it's brilliant that is. Okay, so maybe a leg. I still get nervous about taking trades in these 2-tier channels. Need to hire a van. You're on a distillery tour. Yeah, I will do that at some point. I have considered. In fact, we've looked at hiring one of those the motorhomes and doing a tour. I'd like to do what they call it, the North Coast 500, I think. But I would like to do some distillery tours. I watched some of them on YouTube. But yeah, I'd plan it properly in that. But in fact, I had a friend of mine decided to go walking in Scotland. He went last summer. And he was in the military. He was in the Green Jacket, so he was an infantryman, so he was relatively fit. And he took a big backpack and filled it full of gear and went walking. And after 2 days, had to come home. He was blistered to hell. He just couldn't do any more. I think he'd underestimated how old and unfit he got. Okay, so, I mean, that's nice looking bar there. Lovely looking bar, but look what's happening. So, I just don't want to take that. It's a bit too rich for my blood. Tick above, tick below, 8 ticks maybe. I don't know. It's just floating in a bit. I mean, it is respecting that, but I don't like that. I think that's risky for me personally. It may just shoot on up. You just don't know. It's definitely bullish, but I think that's asking for to get stopped out. Expensive business. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. So I want to come down here early and then start working before I think about getting in. I'd say it's almost definitely going to stop that bullish bar out there. We're only a tick away from it now. I like it. I like the size of the channel, and it's working quite nice. But we need to come back to here now if we're going up any higher, in my opinion, because I think it's losing. I don't know. Initially, that one I thought that would come back here, but it just took off. But I think it's due to come back now. It may get more people interested in it. Let's see if there's any kind of a couple of legs there. Maybe, I don't know. It seems to be almost like one big leg. Perhaps it will be. Perhaps we'll have one leg and then maybe we'll get 2 legs of correction and maybe something else. Spike up range, spike up. Yeah, I wonder if it's going to do the same. The trouble is, it is a failure there, and I kind of liked it in a way, but the trouble is, you know, somebody mentioned it looks like a 2-tier channel, and it does. The trouble is, I hate taking trades in the top tier because I've had a bad experience. I've taken trades before, and they can stop you at a sort of trigger and then come back to here. So I like to get them back here, and you don't know at the time whether that's just going to continue at the side push up, which it does so many times. But if that type of trade was back here, I'd have jumped all over that because it is a second entry short, which triggered and finished nicely. But I'm not a fan of going long right up here. I'd rather get back here. And the early range measured move. Like a bit of a drop here. See, at some point, we've pushed up a little bit sideways, pushed up a bit sideways. ATR's coming down. Now, a lot of the times when that happens, ATR comes down, we get lots of little bars. It just keeps on going and going and going. But what I'd like to see is something like that. And then maybe another channel somewhere along the lines of that. So I get nervous getting these when they have a good push. I like to see a break and try and get in on the break. But if I see something solid enough here, touch. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's holding nice there. It's clearly a two-tier channel to me. So if I can get something here, I'll take it. But I'd like to get something down here and then maybe pick a high-low. I don't like taking that first one, although it quite often works. I like to give it a chance to push up a little bit more. Yeah, see, it may just push up, but I think that's risky taking that. We're up right in the air at the moment, and it could trigger and come back down. It is frustrating, which is why I want to break. Boring day. Yeah, that's trading, unfortunately. It is moving, though, so I like that. It'd be a lot worse if it was stuck in there, but unfortunately, we pushed up quite strongly and we didn't get back to the EMA. See, after that, I don't like getting in there because it's just congestion. You just don't know whether it's going to trigger and come back to this side. And same here, really. There was a higher low. Trouble is, you're at the highs of the day. You just don't know whether it's going to trigger and come down to the, and that's the bit that concerns me. I like it to come back to this channel, really. Before I think about getting in. Unfortunately, it so often doesn't. But boring for PA traders, but the guys trading different strategies are apparently busy. Yeah, there's just so many ways to skin a cat. You don't know what people are doing, do you? Are you trading 2 contracts for 8 ticks? On the one account I am, the other account I'm trading, or the other 2 accounts I'm trading 1 contract. But I tend to go for around about the 2 to 3 points, somewhere around about there. It depends. If I get something that looks really good and we've had a leg and a couple of legs of correction, then I'll hold on a bit. But I think the last 3 trades, I've averaged around about 250, maybe about $268 winnings per trade, which is probably somewhere around about 1-to-1, I'd say. I mean, the ATR is a bit lower today, but tick above, tick below, it's about 2.25 points. So, that to me is 1 leg down. It is quite bullish, isn't it? So, 2 legs, I mean. You think that's 2 legs? I still like it to get to here. No, it becomes low. Well, it depends. If you've got $5,000 in there, and you do 2, but what happens is when you get to $2,600, your trading drawdown stops at $50,100. So whatever you take out there, it can go. So you've got to have $2,600 in before you can withdraw. If you withdraw $2,000, it leaves you $600. Theoretically, you've got $500 because the drawdown stops at 50,100. Okay, it did work. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. It is a second entry, but it just looked like a leg to me. And it's still not coming back to here at the moment, which is why it just makes me a little bit nervous. You took it, did you? Yeah, it looked like a leg to me. I didn't want it to trigger. It could have been a leg, trigger, and a leg. Good on you, mate. You regret not taking it? Yeah, I don't have regrets. Doesn't bother me. The one thing about not taking a trade is you're guaranteed not to lose a penny. So if I've got doubts, I tend to leave it alone now. For me, it just looked like one leg. And as we've not touched this, that's what makes me a little bit nervous. I don't want it to trigger, come down, bounce off here, and then start working up and go in the direction. So good on you, mate. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that trade at all. Not at all. So what was it? 2 1/4. So it was quite a small risk, actually, in all fairness. Almost looks like a looks to me like that's better. So that would make more sense then. It's hitting that line perfectly. So as for the 2-tiered channel, I think it's more of a spiking channel than a 2-tiered channel. Let's get rid of that. So now I've changed that. It looks a lot more appealing. Yeah, it's still a bit sideways. That looks like a spiking channel for me. So I think that's better. Touch a bunch of times. Touch there. I may have taken that if I'd have had that there. That looks much better, doesn't it? Yeah. So, as we're having this, I do expect a correction at some point. So if we can get a nice looking correction, I'll look to get back in. If you've got Replicanto set up to take 2 contracts on one account, I shall show you. There we go. So that's my lead account, 36, which is, you can't see it's over the side. Oh, sorry, let's get that back. Where are you? So there's my lead account, and I've selected pre-allocation. So those 2 accounts, 37 and 38, I've selected just 1 contract on each of them. So there is multiple ways you can do that. I've got it pre-allocated. Obviously, there's ratio or exact quantity or equal quantity. There's a bunch of things, but the easiest thing for me is there. So the 1 account I'm trading, which is my lead account, is set to 2 contracts, and I've just got it pre-allocated, and they're both select. I do like that on and off toggle switch as well, so it's nice to have that. But you can just switch it off quickly if you just want to trade the 1 account. So those 2 are selected. 1 contract. The daily shows no resistance to around 44.30. Really? Interesting. Thank you, Chris. Try telling my wife that. I'll show her your comment later. Chris thinks I'm very helpful. Let me have a look at that. I can adjust that to incorporate that tiny bit. So if I bring that down to there, that's better. Excuse me a second. Okay. Use reallocation. Set the lead account. Make sure the follow account button is green. Yeah, that's what I've done. There. Pre-allocation. And just make sure they're selected. Make sure that lead account matches the account you've got to the right. And then select those. You can change them. You can have, whatever you want, really. Okay, so now let's have a look here. Can you call that overshoot? I'm not convinced it is, really. You can adjust that a slight fraction until it makes no real difference, in all fairness. Okay, so 1 leg down, really. Retesting the 4400 kilo level. I would like a correction at some point. How far have we come up? So 5, 10, 15, 20 points. So not a huge amount. If we can get a correction, are we going to get one here? Who knows? See, this is the first time we've had that 1 push down here. Well, I can clearly see it looks a bit better now. The reason I left that before is not so much about the legs, more the fact that it didn't come to this channel. That's the thing that made me nervous, but obviously I've adjusted that and it did. So would I take that? Yeah, damn right, yeah. Would I have taken that one with this? Possible, yeah. But trust me, when you realise what's going on and you get in, it triggers you. It takes you out. I've not had one trade today. There's nothing wrong with that, mate. You know what that means? It means you've got good patience. Trouble is, if you haven't got your channel right, there's so many ways. Somebody mentioned about doing a 2-tiered channel, and that kind of worked. But we do seem to be working in this section here, so I think it's valid to bring that like that. And trouble is, sometimes you don't click straight away. Sometimes you do. It really depends. But there's nothing wrong with not taking trades, mate. Nothing at all. I'm thinking about taking one here. So that looks like the leg down to me. Now, the problem is here, we could get a leg and a break here. It's hard to say. So that's one leg down. I'd like a little push up and then maybe again. I don't know. It's very hard to... I tend to just look at a trade now and know whether I want to get in it or not. All I would say, don't let the fact you haven't taken a trade pressure you to take one. I tell you now, I shit you not, the only way this works is if you sit there patiently and wait for a good setup. Don't think to yourself, and the reason I'm telling this is I've done it myself, don't think to yourself, oh, we're back at the EMA now, I don't want to miss it, and just say, oh, we've got 4 bars, it looks like it's going up, jump in here, because I tell you something now, it'll trigger you and stop you out. So you've got to wait for a good setup. And I know sometimes you're itching to get in because you're thinking, oh, I don't want to miss any more of this move. And every time it comes back and you don't get a good setup, you get more and more itching to get in. And I guarantee you, the second you do it, triggers you and stops you out. And then you're kicking yourself for the rest of the day then. And that sets you on a path sometimes of taking a revenge trade. Just let it go. Just let it go. That way, it'll work. You can't help but not get good at this if you're willing to let things go. Don't think I've missed out here. You know what I mean? Because if you'd have, as that came down there, see it going up slightly. If you'd have taken that bar, what happened? It triggered you, stopped you out. So you don't get fooled by it, because the market has got a clever way of sucking you in. It really has. It gives you these sort of opportunities. That is a weak trade. Yeah, it looks like it's working off here. It's more or less come back, but it's a weak trade. Not many people are going to trade that. What happens? It triggers you, turns straight back round and stops you out. Now that could be a second entry long in a break. I tend to never take this first one because I've been triggered before and it comes down. And then what you'll realise has happened, we may end up being in a... I've done this before. It may come down and then go up and go down, and it may start to range. So I'm always cautious about that first pull, that first drop out. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I always like to wait, give it an opportunity to trigger me, to trap me. So if that was a bullish bar, I'd wait for it to trigger up. And if it's going to trap me, it'll come down. If it continues on up, then I'll wait for a high low, and it just stops you getting trapped. But yeah, never give in to that weak feeling of, oh, look at this. It's come up 30 points. God, if I'd have gotten here, or if I'd have gotten here, look what I'd have done. That's a surefire way of getting trapped and end up losing a trade. You never, ever lose a penny, I can guarantee you, if you don't take a trade. I've got no issues. It used to bug me. It doesn't anymore, because I've heard so many professional traders and I've got no problem letting the trade go by. Because one thing I can guarantee is I ain't going to lose a penny. Because if you have that doubt in your mind that something doesn't feel right and you take a trade, if it goes against you, you're going to kick yourself because you're thinking, damn, I should have listened. And it is hard to sit there through all these times when it comes back, but look what happens. It comes back, gives you a little teaser, you take it, triggers you, comes back, stops you straight out. So you've just got to wait. Now, had I have had my channel like that earlier, would I have taken that? Yeah, I would. It is a small leg and a break and a leg, but what made me nervous is that it hadn't come back and hit this the bottom of this channel yet, because I had it set at that 2-tier channel. So whoever told me it was a 2-tier channel, I'm not speaking to you again. No, I adjusted it. I wouldn't have left it there if I didn't think it was right, but just as it's starting to go in here now, it still may be valid. It may come back and bounce on here, but let's put it back there. Let's stick it like that. It may just come back into this, but yeah, just be careful. That's why I'm not a fan of taking trades here in a 2-tiered channel. But that looks better. So that looks like a couple of legs. If we start to work up now, then I may be interested in it, or it may be a leg, a push up, then another leg, and then continuation. Who knows? 2 legs down, second entry long form, and I'll be looking for a high low. Yeah, I never take that first one. I always wait for the high low, and ideally if it can be above there, because there's nothing worse than seeing all that go by and then get in and end up losing. Same again, another trade tempting to do. It hasn't triggered away, but that looks like a little channel there, so it may trigger and come back down. But I'm just not getting involved here. I'm not clear at the moment. I want this to continue on up first because you just don't know. As that's formed, some traders will just buy it. Fortunately, we wait for it to trigger above, which it didn't. But if you'd have just bought that, you're out of it. So, little channel there, break new low. Okay, so that channel's played out. So, I think this is an area where we're going to have a break now, I do. Okay, I'm just going to quickly take a 5-minute break. I'm going to make a quick cup of coffee. Nip to the bathroom quickly. So I'll be back in 5. Okay. Back in 5 minutes. Okay, now this is the tricky one. We pushed up, we've got a lower high, higher low there. Could have a leg and a leg down here, see, so that might be a trap. Let's remove that. Okay, so yeah, I'm a bit hesitant going along there because we could have a leg and a leg. I'm not convinced that's a break. I think we may have a break here. Let's see if we got anything from Mac yet. Okay, tell you what I'm doing. Let's put that back there for now. Right, let's see what Mac's got us. Tenth, yes, good. Okay. Okay, so Mac has got it as a two-tiered channel. Okay, so let's put that like that. He's up. Where is he? Here now, Mac is. Okay, so that's good enough for me. He's got that like that. And he's got his tops there. Beautiful. Okay, so all good. Right. Now, got to be a bit careful here because you could get trapped. Need 2 points to pass another evaluation. Good on you, mate. Make them count. Okay, I think that's risky personally. I adjusted that ever so slightly. I'm happy that isn't, but that is a small break. Whether it'll make a difference or not, I don't know, but it's enough of a difference for me to not get in there because I think that's going to come down there and stop that out for sure. In fact, I'd put money on it. Maybe not. Trouble is, where do you draw the line? Do you keep extending? That's my issue. Sometimes it'll do that, suck you in and down it'll go. Yeah, I'm going to assume that that is a little break. I still think that's going to get stopped out. I do. I might be wrong, but one leg down, a couple of pushes up. We've come off here. We haven't got very high. So I think this is going to come out. And it might do it quite quickly. Because I say some traders that are buying there and there, I think that's going to come down and stop them out pretty quickly. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going long, I'm not going short either, because it's a bit unclear. I think it's going to come down and break these lows, I do. That's what I think is going to happen. Just with this dip, we've had a little break here. It's just looking a bit weak. It's not... We've come down and we've bounced 3 times off there and we've pushed up quite strongly, but we've come straight back down again and we seem to be struggling. So I think this is where we're going to have a break. You may call that a break. But sometimes it does that. It just sucks in longs and all of a sudden down it comes and takes out the stops. Let's see if it traps some more longs. I mean, it could go up, but for me, something's just not right here. I don't like the look of it for going long, personally. Does this? It just traps longs. Ooh, let's take that one. What about that one or that one? I think we're going to range for a bit. We've pushed up, but that's it, and we've turned down. So we're losing a bit of momentum. So I think we need that correction. Yeah. I'm not taking either at the moment. I'm not taking shorts. I'm not, because it could be trappy, but I think we're going to get a bit of sideways. But I think it's leg, and then maybe a continuation if we get lucky. But it may trap some longs. There's another possible long there, which may get... I don't know. It depends. You've got your chart drawn. But this is just caution for me. It may just rank straight up, but I don't like it. And my instinct's getting much better at knowing areas. See, it does look like it's working up something there, but it's not working for how I've got my chart. See if you've got something like that, but that just doesn't fit to me. It does look like it's working up somewhere, but I don't like it. This is how we had it. This is how Max got it, and we've had a small break, another little break. You just don't know. For me, there's just a little bit of uncertainty there, but we are making higher highs. It may just push up, but sometimes it just... From experience, when you've been in trades like this before and you think, oh yeah, let's take that one, and you get trapped, you tend to get a bit cautious around them now, and I think that's a good thing for me. This is going a bit sideways, but it is producing trades that you may take that one, you possibly take that one, and it's not strong enough for me. It's just risky, in my opinion. I'm not comfortable with it, and if I'm not comfortable with something, I tend to leave it alone. Put it this way, it's not working how it's been coming up nicely, isn't it? Really nicely. Now we've come back, we've had a push, we've had a break, we've had a new low, we've pushed up, we've come down quite strongly. We're up a bit, down a bit, up a bit. It's great, it's slowly working, but that's not sort of positive enough for me to get in. So if you look at the 4,000 tick chart, it's starting to look very congested, isn't it? After that push up. So I think we need an area of a correction, I do. And then possibly that may encourage some more buyers, but it's just a bit risky, I think. I wouldn't like to be in that trade by now. I'd have wanted to if it does break above this, then we may continue up, but this has just got caution written all over it for me. Hate it when it stops like that. Yeah, there's another one you may have gone long, see, and I mean, it may well push up. It is, but I expect a correction at some point. And I don't like what's happened here. We've got that right now. I adjusted it slightly to fit that one. If I adjust it slightly to fit that one and I adjust it slightly to fit that one, at some point I've got to accept myself that there's possibly a small break. And if there is a small break, you just don't know whether it's going to continue up. But I would like a correction. When it does stuff like that, for me, I just think, okay, let's just think about this. What's going on? Have we had a break? Are we continuing up? Are we going to make a correction? I'm not sure, so I tend to stay away from it. When it's working slowly here, it's working up, it's grinding up really nice and steadily, but now it's a little bit, but you know, it does tend to continue on up. You took it. Good on you, mate. I mean, the angle that's working up for me would mean maybe a channel would be like this, but then we've got that bit sticking out the top of it, so if something doesn't seem right, I tend to leave it alone. And I mean, it's certainly good for 2 points, there's no argument there. You're still in for a 1 point runner. Yeah, if it had been sat on this line, I may have been a bit more interested in that. But the fact that we've had a bit of a break and a slightly bigger one, you don't know whether it's going to trap some shorts and have a leg down. Okay, it's broke out, any stops that were up there. There was some stops up there, obviously, but Accountability King, how you doing? How you doing? Okay, so the trouble is, how much do you adjust that? Do you adjust it now? Again, that's the trouble if you keep adjusting these things. The trouble is, if you adjust it to there like that and keep that there, you could say there's been an overshoot there, so that could create 2 legs. So that's why I add that down as caution. Just buy that, yeah. Yeah, see, that's where that originally was. We're working nice there. Touch, nice touch. That first one I'll accept, but the others I have to say they're a small break. Whether they're enough of a break to make a difference or to slow it down, I don't know. But Let's see if this looks any better. Depends if you've been paid anything up until now. Only you can answer that one, bud. If you're confident you know what you're doing and you think you can build them up, if you take the money now, the chances are you're going to blow them because they'll be ridiculously low. Depends. Do you need the money? We've got Christmas coming up. It's hard to say. I did that initially on my first few payouts, but I tend to hold a bit now. So that's a question only you can answer. Do you need the money? Maybe you take 1,000 out of them all. If you got 5, maybe you take 1,000 out. That's $5,000. So it's a tough one, that, mate. But only you can really answer that one. How long's it taking you to get them? Is it the first time you've got them up there? So there's a few different questions you got to think about there. There have been a time what I would have done, not now, because I feel like I'm getting onto that next level now. What I've got to give them time to grow. Because if they're at a nice level now, and your drawdown stops, so you're starting to increase that level. So I'd say if you can get to $5,000 or say $7,000, that first account I got to $7,000, a little over. It's a nice time to take money there because you've worked hard to get that there. So it's a shame to take all the money and end up blowing the accounts because you've just got to pay another $140 for each of them again, and more evaluation. So it depends if you need the money, mate. I've had 3 payouts this year, and I blow the accounts after I take. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You've done exactly the same thing I've done, and in all fairness, probably the same thing most people do. So what you could do is maybe just take 2,000 out of a couple of them, or take 1,000 out of all of them, or something like that. If you want a bit of money, and we all want money, don't we? So it's a tough one, that, mate. But it depends if you need the money. If you're going to blow them, you've got to, build them back up again. So it's a hard decision to make, that one, mate, in all fairness. I'm just, that bit's throwing me. I'm not a fan of this. It's sort of too tiered, but so if you withdraw the first 2,000 from the PA, you've got 100. Now you can't withdraw 2,500. You can withdraw 2,000 on a 50,000 account, and that will leave you 600. But really, you've only got 500 because the trailing drawdown stopped at 50,100. So you've got 500 left, and that doesn't give you a lot of room for error. So it's a tough one. I think it's quite common when people first take the payouts, they don't give a crap about the account, they just want the money, and that's fair enough. It's nice to get paid. But once you've done that a bunch of times, you've got to think more long term. Then you think, okay, so I'm building accounts here, I can do it. So if you can get those 5 accounts to say $7,500, there's no reason why you won't be able to take $2,000 every month out of that account. So all of a sudden now you're earning $10,000 a month. You know what I mean? No, you haven't. No, they changed it temporarily, but there was uproar. So no, things changed. So, but no, once it gets to $2,600, you can withdraw $2,000 if you so desire. God, that's no stopping that, is it? So there is a possibility now, but yeah, it depends if you need the money, mate. Now it is Christmas, so maybe take some out of all of them, or a lot out of some of them. It's a tough one, that, because you could withdraw $10,000, and $10,000 is, it's not pocket change, is it? it's quite a chunk of money, and at this time of year, with Christmas around the corner, it could provide a nice little comfortable Christmas for you. So yeah, it's a tough one, that, bud. Tough one. Yeah, it's hard to know what's going on here. It does seem to be losing momentum now. You're rightly so. There was a second entry long there, and you could say it was a failure. My only slight bit why I didn't take that is because we seem to have a bit of a little break there, then a bigger break, then a big. So I'm just thinking, are we now? And I've seen it happen. Some go long there, some go long there, and it goes wham, and we have two legs, and then it ends up going in the. So it's. For me, there's a little bit of caution there, and I'm just overcautious at the moment. Now, if I had $20,000 in my PA accounts, then I probably would take that, because I'd say it's probably going to work quite a bit of the time, but I just don't want to take something there's something I'm not sure about there. I don't like the way, because we had it a bit tighter than that, so there was a small break there. And a small break there and a slightly bigger break. So for me, it looks like it may be losing a bit of momentum. So I just left it alone. But you've all got to make judgments. Some people take a little bit more risky trades than others, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. You take what you think. If it's certainly going to work more than not. Put it that way. So if you're going for 1-to-1 every time and taking them and it works 60% of the time, you're making money. But something tells me to be cautious around here now. If I took a trade there and it triggered me and dropped me, I'd be angry and frustrated myself. And that's what I try and avoid, because that affects my trading. So I wait until I see a trade that something tells me, take it, I like it. Disclaimer, I'm not a pro, I never had a pair, I'm just using my own common sense, yeah. It doesn't seem to be slowing down, does it? Yeah, you could say that is two legs, you could say that's two legs, it's just, there is a possibility, see there, that it looked like it may go a bit sideways for a time, because it wasn't going up as comfortably as I like. And it is frustrating to see all this move go without you. But if you're not confident that something doesn't feel right, then I'd say listen to it. Even if you miss a trade, you'll last longer. So let's see what happens now. So we've had a break, two pushes up. This looks like it's slowing down now. See, on a slightly bigger chart, you can get away with that. Okay, so let's bring it down a bit. It doesn't seem to be slowing down. We could itch that up a bit. The trouble is we're moving it and moving it and moving it. So where do you draw the line? I have been using the replicated trade copying today. When I went long, my master account, all the other accounts went short. Have you never heard of that, mate? Never heard of that. Never heard of that. The closest I've had to that is when I had the Apex trade copy maybe 7 or 8 months ago. What may have happened is when I had that problem with the Apex trade copier, some of the accounts didn't trigger and they sit there, and sometimes they can trigger the opposite trade. So on I'm going to drag these in. On the side of my account, I have 2 boxes, these 2 here. Okay, so if I open up a trade,
order submitted.
They're there, sat there, waiting, yeah? Now, after the trade triggers or closes, I've got to make sure, when the trade triggers, make sure that box is empty, positions, okay? Is that right? I can't think now. Now, make sure those orders have all been taken. Make sure there's nothing left. And if there is, you'd have to right-click and just cancel them. But it's an orders and positions, so that'll tell you the orders. Now, when those orders get taken, if that gets bought, those orders will disappear. If there's any left, it means they weren't triggered for whatever reason, so just right-click them. So I always have some of there, and I right-click it, and I just click cancel orders. Yeah, and it cancels anything that's left. So always have those, in my opinion, orders and positions. So I always check when a trade's taken, when you're trading multiple accounts, make sure there's no orders sat there waiting, because if they're not triggered, get rid of them. And also when the trade is finished or closed, make sure there's nothing left in any of these boxes. If there is, right-click cancel order. And if there is a close position, no, flatten everything. So always have those two bars, those two there, and I just have those to my right. And I keep an eye on them. Just covers your arse, because from time to time things go wrong. Now, in all honesty, Replicanto for me has been perfect. Now, what computer you've got makes a difference as well. When you start to trade multiple accounts, you need a quick computer. That can make a difference as well. I've heard people talk about that with Darren Martin.
Sorry, I don't know the one.
Okay, I don't know where that came from. That was my Alexa. I heard Daryl Martin talking, not Daryl Martin, that Vince talking about it. The one that withdrew $800,000, he said when he started trading multiple accounts, he had problems and it was down to the speed of his computer. Now, there is a bit of software you can use which gives you an idea of how your computer stands up amongst...
Sorry, I don't know the one.
Sorry, shut it off, that's better. It's my Alexa for some reason deciding he's got a brain of his own all of a sudden. Where is it? Where is it? Now, that's flatten all button. I click to cancel all trades. Yeah. Just get used to it. It takes a bit of time to keep remembering it's there, but sometimes if a trade doesn't trigger, it could be down to your computer. So where's this bit of, let's find it. Where is it? It's called User Bench. Let me just see if I can get it. I'm just going to click this and hopefully it doesn't come into my main screen. No, it hasn't. Okay. Launch benchmarks. Okay, so what I'm going to do is drag this in a little bit. This is a bit of software I've got. I downloaded this from Apex. And what it does is it checks your whole system and then it gives you a rating. So when it gives us a rating, I'm going to drag it in and it gives you an idea, checks your computer against lots of other computers, and mainly I think traders use this a lot, and it gives you a diagram, gives you an idea of how good your system is, to do a particular type of job. But I'll let it's testing everything at the moment, so I'll drag it in quickly. It's testing my drives, it tests your RAM, it's going through everything, and then it will give me a bit of a picture. When it does, I'll bring it in and show you. And it's called User Benchmark, or User Bench. User Benchmark, it's called. Okay, it does all this sort of stuff as well. Yeah, it's identified my NVIDIA, GeForce, RTX, blah, blah, blah. It goes all through your software. Let's get it up out of the way. Okay, so we do seem to be going up in this channel now, so if I can get something back here, I will take it. I have adjusted that. So I think that's okay now. Trouble is I had it there initially and then I opened it a bit and opened it a bit, so sometimes they fit nice in these channels and sometimes it's a little bit unsure, so I tend to be, I'd rather sit and wait through all this if it means I get one nice trade later in the day. Okay, it's nearly done. It'll check my system against loads of other traders or computers or whatever. Okay, let's check my computer, so I'm going to drag this in. And this is, in fact, let me just move that over a bit so people can still see this. Okay, let's check my computer. So let me just bring that in a bit. Now, my computer is categorised as so PC status, blah blah blah. It gives you all this information. There's my chip. Its currently rating is excellent. I got a Ryzen 7. My graphics card is good, performing below potential, but I don't need a good graphics card for this. My that's 300% outstanding. It's my Samsung. It's one of those NVMe SSDs. That's as excellent. I got 32 gig of RAM. But what it does is it gives you a rating. So my desktop is a nuclear sub. Workstation is a battlecruiser. And my gaming, I'm not worried about that. This is more what I'm concerned about, my desktop. Also what it does, I'll just have a look at your leg and a possible leg. Just go further down. It tells you how you can improve things and all this sort of stuff, but where's the ratings? Okay, right, there's the ratings. So, mine's a nuclear sub. So my computer rates high. UFO is the highest, so mine's a nuclear sub. So that's good. Obviously there's aircraft carrier, battleship, battlecruiser, and further down here you've got a tree trunk. So if your computer is rating down here, it's going to adversely affect your trading because it's just your chip, your processor's just not working quick enough. But you know, down that bit of software, it's just userbench.com and test your computer, and it'll test your whole computer. But if you are down here somewhere, ideally you want to be up here somewhere. But userbench is called. Have a go at that, and just out of curiosity, let me know what you've done. But mine's a nuclear sub, I think. Yeah, nuclear sub. My desktop anyway, so we'll do it there. Okay. Just congested here. I'm not. It does look like it's going to push again, but I'm not a massive fan of it. It's a bit congested, a bit uncertain, so. Yeah, maybe. My only slight concern is when we come away from this this channel. But, let's see. Oh, there's music as they're playing. I didn't realise there was music playing. It's gone now, I'm assuming, is it? Yeah, I forgot it played music. Actually, I forgot all about it because I have my sound off. Yeah, I forgot it had music. But no, I downloaded that for was it class? But it's interesting to find how powerful your PC rates up against others. But loads of other traders use it as well, so excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. No, I thought my computer was acting up, didn't you? Yeah, have to be careful here. Let me have a proper look at this. Yeah, it's quite a strong trend, isn't it? How far have we come up from the bottom? 46 points. It's a fair old move. It's not massive. We could certainly do a lot more. 51 watching and only 12 likes. They don't bother me, the likes, mate. You're never going to make a lot of money off YouTube. I think I make about, with the videos, I make about $30 a month, I think. Yeah, it don't bother me. You'll never hear me talking about likes and that. I don't know, does it actually make a difference? I've got no idea. Not a clue. It's appreciation. No, I don't mind, mate. I'm not just here for your benefit. I'm here to help me as well. See, so it's you know, it helps us all. But I appreciate the thought. Right, is this a leg and a leg? What's going to go on here? Trouble is, the further it goes up, the more nervous you get about taking a trade. Okay, so where's that ATL? Okay, so we've had a little break below there, so that would be a higher low. My only slight issue is congested. No, I'm not a fan of that. I just don't like this area, and I know it's sometimes you sit here and you're going to see all that, but if it's not right, now I can see, yeah, because I've adjusted my chart. I initially had it here, so after we had a push up from here, we went right back to the side and we came right back to this side and we pushed up and we didn't go only to the midline, and that makes me cautious about going here because it may trigger you and go sideways, so I left that one, which is fair enough. But in all fairness, it is a higher low, but it pulled back a little bit when we got to the top of this, so just same again, I'm a bit cautious. I like these channels where we can get back to here. I know sometimes it doesn't, you know, but something doesn't feel right. There's no arguing it is congested. Yes, if I'd have taken that one, I think I'd need a fresh change of underwear now. So leg, maybe another leg. I'd like to get down here really. So that looks a leg to me. Maybe two legs back, something like that. Maybe a higher low. So I think it's reasonable to think we're going to get up here. I can't see why not. After coming up here, that's the biggest pullback we've had. So you may say that's a leg, two legs back, or one leg back and a smaller leg back, and another leg. So I think it's fair we could continue on higher. Trouble is sometimes, and you can feel it sometimes, we start to go up again and you think, oh, I don't want to miss it this time, so let's take a trade, and it triggers you and stops you out. So yeah, I'm just going to be extra cautious. I've got no issues with letting it go again if it doesn't give me anything suitable. See, I've got the 4,000 tick chart, and this looks a lot clearer to me. Fits a lot nicer. There's one leg, 2 legs, maybe another leg. It does fit nice. The trouble is I don't like it when it doesn't come back to here. But we pushed up there, went down a little bit sideways, and then we had 2 legs up, and we've got a little bit sideways down. So I'd like to get a little bit of a pull back to here before I think about going along, because I ain't getting trapped today. Yeah, see, if you'd have taken that long there, what would you have got? You'd have got a point at best, I think. Depending if you trigger it, depends where you got in. Let's have a look. Yeah, you'd have got a point. And that's the trouble when it goes sideways. It's just so tempting to get into these, and all of a sudden it goes up and up and up. You think, yeah, we go, we're at the top, and all of a sudden, wham, get a big drop like that. Takes out the long stops there. That one may hold. It's hard to say. So it is tempting when you see all this and you think, okay, so there we go. There's a higher low. Okay, it looks like we're going up, and that one goes, that one goes. If you went a tick above there, you may not have got your point. But I go for a little bit more than that. So, you know, I don't let now the patience. Well, I seem to be. It seems to work okay for me now. I don't let that impatience go, because I've been in this situation before where I've been itching and think, God, it's gone all this. And I'm hearing some of you guys took a trade back here, some back here, and I'm thinking, and sometimes that psychological thing starts ticking. You think, oh, bollocks to it, let's just jump in, and it comes down and takes you out, and you kick yourself then. So now it doesn't matter to me how many trades you guys have gone or how many points you've got. I'm quite happy not taking anything, because ultimately it doesn't matter what you guys win or lose. It doesn't affect my, profit, win, loss, nothing like that. So you have to, no matter, it's very hard to give in under pressure. And when I say pressure, I don't mean you guys just talking. I mean seeing all that move in front of you and feeling embarrassed that you haven't got in there. So I've got no issues now letting it go, because if I wait for another half an hour and take a point, 2 points on a nice trade, I'm done for the day. So, but yeah, you're seeing that go. You wish you'd have got in there, but how I had my chart, and we had that little bit of a break, and that caused me a bit of caution. So I left that one and the higher low, and I'm thinking, oh, we're getting a leg and a leg. Are we going a bit sideways? I didn't like the fact that we'd had a couple of small breaks, so that adds a little bit of caution. Things are going well. My win record is good at the moment, so I'm happy to let things go by. And yeah, if it carries on up for another 20 points, so be it. But one thing I've realised about this, if you sit patiently and wait for something that says to you, this is a good trade, and you know what they are because you can't move your mouse quick enough. You're right-clicking and you're opening up, and half the time, sometimes I'll just click the buy button. And I'll tell you something, when you take them trades, they do not fail. I'd rather take 4 winning trades a week over a whole week than have 6 trades with 2 losses, or 7 trades with 2 losses. but I got to say, market seemed easier lately. There has been more setups. We went for a patch, up to maybe a couple of 3 weeks ago, and maybe for quite a few months where it was awful. There just wasn't anything. At least we do seem to be getting some setups now. There will be some traders who will take that, and I wouldn't knock them for it. Just a little bit more risky. But yeah, it has seemed hard lately. But the last sort of couple of few weeks, we do get better days. So that's good news. But I'd say we are working up to here. So there's still plenty left. I mean, if we go up to there, say, what's that, 27-ish? So there's still 14 points potentially. So plenty of time to get in. Same again, even if that pushes out, I'm not taking it here because it's clearly congested. It's struggling to get through there. It may come down and try and push up again. It may just break here, a proper break, or it could rocket up. I got no idea. But I don't like that. I don't like it when we get a big red bar followed by a big green bar, or vice versa. Okay, just excuse me, just for 2 minutes. I'm just gonna get myself a bottle of water. I'm drying up here. 2 minutes. Okay. Gone without us again. Yeah, I just don't like any of this, in all fairness. So, let's see if we can get maybe a retest of this. Yeah, way too far to take that. Going in the midline. Okay, come back and stop that out. And then we may get a drop back to this. Okay, a leg and a leg would be nice if we can get back down to here. If we get a really good setup, we could get a pretty good move out of it. Two legs back, one leg, two legs with a bullish bar. One leg break, another leg. So if we can drop down here a bit and get something bullish.
Order submitted.
Just not a massive fan of the bar. There is a failed second entry long which is triggered. Nah, something I don't like about that. Did you get a high or low?
Order cancelled.
That's going to get stopped out, in my opinion. So we've had a little channel down there, we've had a break. I'd like to get down here below there. I mean, it may continue up, but it's just not very clear to me. That's a leg. I'd like another leg down there. It's just not very clear. Once your patient goes, you're doomed.
Order submitted.
I'm still not a fan of that. We haven't got much room to the highs.
Order cancelled.
Let's have a look. Yeah, there's 3/4. There's just not enough room to the highs. I'm just cautious around here, I am. I just don't like this. Something similar to this. It's just sideways. Now, sometimes it'll just continue up, but you have to just exercise caution. I'm happy with one trade a day. And I haven't seen what I would call a good setup there. There is a second entry long, but at the time I had my channel drawn there, so that was a small break, and it did look like it could go sideways. So apart from that, that one, it's clearly sideways and congested, so in my opinion I had to stop that one. Couldn't take anything there, congested. We have had a push, congestion, and all the way along there it's congested, and same here as well, and you just don't know. It's getting a little bit volatile now. I'm not a fan of this. Let's have a look. One leg down and a break. See if we can get something else. One leg, two legs.
Order submitted.
Gotta come below here, ideally, to touch that EMA if we can.
Order cancelled. We do still seem to be grinding up, but it's got to go sideways until I can get something worth taking for up to have that next sort of leg up. Let's have a leg down, another leg down. Get here somewhere nice and bullish, and I'll have a go at that.
Still nothing I do there. It's just going sideways. I've reset the count there anyway. So there's the first entry. If you can get somewhere down here, it's just dangerous going along in there. Yeah, we are moving up, but the fact that it's congested just means it's just extra risky. There is a second entry along there. Still not a fan of it. It's right in the centre. Rather wait for a higher low. Good on you, Ryan. Just wonder if there's anyone gone short there. Kind of like that it's come back and retested that. So when does that go live, Ryan? Tomorrow, does it? Well, we've got another day or two or a few more days yet. I think my last one, I think day after tomorrow, I think it's day 6 today. Yes, I am, Sam. Yeah. Yeah, I've got one at 2 contracts and the remaining 2 at 1 contract. Okay. It's tempting there. We've come back and we've had a double bottom now off that midline. There's going to be some stops there, so I'm tempted to take
Order
that.
submitted.
It's a relatively small bar as well. Let's see how it finishes. Hmm. I'm still not confident with that.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
Okay, if we can get a higher low, there's a second entry short there, so I kind of like that. Just going to put that there. Lower high triggered, second entry short triggered, that one there triggered, stopped out. So I'm glad I left that one alone there. I just don't like this scenario.
Order
there,
cancelled.
So that one there, good decision to stay out of that because it triggered me, came down and stopped me out. Okay, you could say maybe 1, 2, 3. Okay, excuse me just for 1 minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. Right, let's see what's going on here. Just not a fan of trading any of this. This. Yeah, that made a higher low. Sorry, that made two. It's just, it's risky. Same again. It's so tempting. If you'd taken that one, you wouldn't have got your point out of that. It's just risky. You'd have got a point out of it. That one triggered you, stopped you out. I just don't like it when it goes sideways. When it goes sideways, it's congested and it gets unpredictable. And unfortunately, that little bit sideways, we had a leg down, we had a break. It pushed up just a little bit and then came straight back down. So I thought we may start to range, which is why I left that alone. It's just one of those things. That same again, it's sideways and it's risky. You just don't know. And at the time, we're going sideways. Could just be a fell break out the top. You just don't know. We didn't know it was going to do this. See, so that for me is a bit risky. It could trigger you and come stop you out. So I've not seen anything that's been. I mean, obviously, I had my channel slightly different. That's not a terrible trade, but there again, there is a little bit of extra risk there for me. There's nothing I think I can take here. If you took that one there, you wouldn't have got your point. Where was it? That one. No, where was it? That one there is a higher low. It wouldn't have triggered you. Came back down and stopped you out. So it is a bit risky. Wonder whether we're having a slightly different channel here. No. Okay, so that's surely a break. Yeah, sometimes they do, Ryan. I won't worry about it too much, mate. Just trade it as you see it. A couple of months ago, I took we had a big leg down there from the open. We had two legs up and a beautiful bearish bar. I took it. Loads of people say, why'd you take that? Sure, it was crap on mine. And when I reloaded the data, it was a perfect doji where I wouldn't have taken it. So just, I don't know, some things are just meant to be. It is what it is. Does seem like it's losing momentum to me. Okay, I'm going to trade on a bit longer, actually, do another 30 minutes. I'm just going to give my wife a shout and get her to sort the dinner out. So I'll be just 1 minute. Okay. Ah. Yeah, it's just risky here. I've got in long trades here before and it shot down and stopped me out, so maybe one of those days today. Yeah, it's losing momentum for me. Are we going to get a push up? I think it's likely, but I'm going to be very careful what I take. If it gets above these stops here, it may have a push. You could call that high or low, but there's not much room to the tops. Breaks above there. There's probably going to be some stops. There certainly is there. Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts. I've just found out I've had to be... It's so tempting to go in at some places, but it's just... Look at this. It's so tempting to go above there. You think once we get above there, it's going to have a push, but you just don't know what it's going to do. When it's like this, it's unpredictable. Just because we're going up doesn't guarantee it's going to continue on up. It's just one of those frustrating things, unfortunately. I've just realised it's all you can, but you've just got to wait till you see a setup. There's nothing there that makes me want to get long. Although I think it's likely to go long, there's just no setup. And if you take a weak position, you'll get stopped out. And there's nothing down here, really. You may call that a hidden second entry short and go long, a hidden second entry long. I just don't know. It's not close enough to the EMA for me. That one, possibly that one, but there you go. You've got this issue there. So there's just nothing what I would say is a really good trade. There's no second entry long there. You can't take that bar. It needs to be at least level with this to take that as a long, really. Trading packs, anyway. There's just so many areas of congestion. It's not a case of... See, Christian, you're saying, what am I waiting for? It depends what sort of strategy you use. We use a very tight stop in this strategy. And it's, yes, we're going up, but look how much sideways stuff there is. And when it's going sideways, it's uncertainty. You've got to do what you do, and I've got to do what I've got to do. Do you know what I mean? And I have a good win rate. But I've got to take a trade that fits with my strategy. But look how sideways it is. It's just congested. It just makes things so much riskier. And the trouble is, sometimes when you get comments like that, it sort of puts you under pressure to sort of perform. And I've given up that. There was a time where I used to read stuff like that and go, oh, damn it, I've got to go long. Oh, let's go here in a weak position. And it goes against you. So no matter what somebody says, you have to wait till you're comfortable. There's no issues with not taking a trade today, none at all. But if you take something you're not comfortable with, it's not a second entry. There's your signal bar, second entry. There's your first entry. When it breaks above there's your second entry. That's your signal bar. And all in fairness, it's a NAF signal bar. But the trouble is, we all have these different. In the past, when I've heard, why don't you take that? Why don't you take that? And then you end up getting in. You know what I mean? But what you got to realise is, so many people have got so many different strategies. You know, you may take a trade here. You know, you may have your stop down here. We keep our stop sort of, quite tight. Yes, you can't take that. Signal bars and NAF. If they've either been really bullish, then yeah, I'd get that off, bouncing off the bottom. But it's just NAF, really, in all fairness. But once we've come to here, it's sideways. Yeah, it goes up a bit, goes sideways, go up a bit, goes sideways. But now we're out. You just don't know what it's going to do. Normally, we'd make a new extreme. We'd make a new high. But it looks like 1 minute it's going up. So you may think, oh, I'll take that one, or I'll go above here. And then it comes down and takes your stop. So when it's like this, trust me now, you're better off not trading it, because you're just going to get chopped up. And you know. Oh, sorry. I mean, if you take a trade in, you have your stop down it, and you're going up here, that's a completely different story. But my stop goes one tick below my entry bar, so there's not a lot of room for maneuver. So I've got to take a good trade. But for me, we're moving up. That looks like one leg down, two legs down. So that's a good sign. Now, if we can start pushing up, that may interest me. So that looks like one leg down, and that looks like two legs down. So if we get close to that measured move and then start to work up, then I may be interested. But failing that, there's just nothing I can do, because it's so congested and it's unclear. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. You can't do it. And with scalping only a couple of points, that's all you can do, really. Just take your time and trust me. I've spent so much time getting into NAF trades because I think, it's going up without me, and I take a trade, and trust me, that the algorithms of the market are very, very clever at weeding out weak positions. Trust me. I've been in enough of them before. And you sit here patiently, and you think, oh, sod it, we're running out of time, let's take a trade. It triggers you and stops you out. I'd much rather not take a trade today. Now, the trouble is, just because it's been working up all day long doesn't mean it's a good trading day. If there's not many setups and not many entries, doesn't come back to the EMA, or it stays away from the channel, doesn't mean it's a good day. Don't get me wrong, you want to trade these days because you just got to go long, but you've got to go long at the right points, especially if you're trading pats. Other people have got, totally different. Some people use indicators and it tells them go long here or go long here, but this for me is pure price action. I'm trading on purely what I'm seeing the price doing. The only one indicator I use is this EMA, which just acts like a magnet. But at the moment, it's above the EMA, it's below the EMA, it's above the EMA, it's below the EMA. It's choppy, and you just got to let it go. Because I tell you something now, the first time you jump in there and take something risky, it punishes you. And you've sat here for 3 hours for nothing. And I've done that so many times. I've given up. I've given up doing it. And if you do this right with Pats, you'll get 85, 90, 90% win rate without any great difficulty. I reckon 2 points or 1-1, you'll get at least 80% win rate. And I think for a 1-1, that's good. Okay, so we got 1 leg back, 2 legs back. It's not a perfect measured move, but it's good enough, excuse me, for me. So if we can get a higher low, then it may be worth taking, we'll see. But you have got to be so careful because it's so easy to be thinking we've got to go long, and a lot of times it'll get you in and then down it'll come. So you've just got to be careful. Yeah, see, I mean, it depends where you got your points at, but yeah, that's your signal bar, and in all fairness, it's naff. Sometimes when you have a break, and I've done this, if that focused on looking for anything that looks like a long trade, and it sucks you in and it sucks you in, then it just drops down and takes everything out. It is frustrating. So sometimes when we have a channel, we have a break, don't be so obsessed with going long, because a lot of times it just doesn't. Especially when it's had a really good move like this, it might just be a bit exhausted, and sometimes it'll, buyers will just give up, and then once it starts to go, it just topples. You enter that one. Yeah, but that's the signal bar there. 1 leg, 2 legs back. Once that pushes over it, it triggers that trade, but that's your signal bar. Same as that one. So if you'd have gone long there, that would have been your signal bar. That wasn't a bad signal bar, but my only slight issue with that is we've had 1 leg down here, and I'm concerned that we are maybe go a bit sideways there, because I had my chart drawn tight to there, and then we had a little break, so I'm thinking, oh, we getting a bit of sideways, so okay, so your stop would have been there, depending on where you got in, and you'd have got taken out there, but it could just drop. That's the trouble. 1 leg, 2 legs, that's probably about where that measured move was. I think I did get rid of it, but I'd say it's pretty close. Let's put that there and that there. Okay. Yeah. So 1 leg, 2 leg, and it pushed up quite strongly. It is a second entry long, but it's just, I'm not a fan of where it is. That's all. Yeah, it's a doji. It's open the same place as it closed, so it doesn't interest me. If it was sat down here with a body sat on there, I may be interested, but that's the type of trade that could just trap you. In my opinion, it's a weak position. I often see Mark. Mark who? Saying to take the next one. See, one thing I'll say, and I've mentioned this quite a bit lately, the more you trade, the more you'll come up with your own type of trades as well as following, I think he means Mac. Oh, Mac. Yeah, Mac won't mark that. Mac wouldn't mark that. It's just too congested. He won't mark that at all. Mark. Yeah. The thing is with Mac doesn't show us the trades he takes, and the reason being, as he's grown and developed as a trader, he'll notice areas and patterns where he'll trade which don't fit our rules. And the reason he do that is because he's experienced, and he sees this market day in, day out for over 25 years, so he's going to know there's areas that are worth taking even though they don't follow our rules. But no, that's your signal bar. We got one leg down, two legs down. There's the signal bar. And in all fairness, even if it was bullish, it's completely sideways. It's going into the middle line, and it's just risky. And Mac will tell you when the market's doing like this, just stay out of it because you'll get chopped up. Stuff might still work, but what it does is it makes you think next time, oh, it worked last time, let's do it again. But you've got to think in probabilities here, and we're going for high probability trades. And usually when you get the good setups, they take off. So maybe you deem that as okay. Slight caution there. I'm a little bit extra cautious nowadays, but it was a nice bar and it was off there. I adjusted that at the time. I didn't have that set up, but look how it pushed up. Hidden second entry long there. Same again. I left that because of this, but look, it pushed up. So you can tell where you get good entries because you can see where buyers come in. Now, there is a second entry long there, but that's not just brought in loads of buyers. Otherwise, it'd be moving. It's still going sideways. So it just makes it risky in all fairness. When it's going sideways, you're just best off stay out of it. No, I've given up. It doesn't really do me any favours. What it is at some point in your trading career, you lose a bit of confidence, things go a bit wrong, and you look for a crutch, something just to give you that little bit of extra confidence to go. And in all fairness, with the style of trading we're doing here, Pat, pure price action trading, you don't need it. You really don't. And I've used it for a bunch of time just to realise I don't need it. But, you know, you look for stuff. I started trading penguin style a while ago just for a week or two, and it just dawned on me, what am I doing? You know, what I'm doing here, it works. And I don't need anything else, but it's pretty... You know, it's pretty understandable. You know, you lose a bit of confidence and things don't go well and that, and you think, oh, I hear somebody talking about this, someone talking about that. So if you'd have taken that one, you'd be a bit nervous now, wouldn't you? Because it's a weak trade, in my opinion. That's what I mean. Don't get too focused on going long just because we've had a break of an uptrend. It doesn't mean we're going to. And the way this is looking, it's starting to get a bit bearish. Absolutely, yeah. I've heard lots of experienced traders, even before you even tell them what your strategy is, they tell you it's not your strategy. Because they know out of experience, it's the psychological side. When things start to go wrong, you start to think, oh, is my strategy right? Now, I am confident this strategy, for sure, but you hear about somebody talking about this indicator or that indicator, or you see the penguin guy doing well, and he does well, not because... his strategy is any better than this, is because he's experienced. And an experienced trader who can control their psychology, or, you know, control that side of it, will do well in any strategy, really. That's the difficult part. So that doesn't look like such a good trade now, does it? See, it is a second entry long. It is relatively bullish, but it's sideways. Yeah, we're going up, but look, stop's gone out of it, which is why I left it alone, because it's anything in here like this is cautious. And that's the trouble. You can get that focused on, I'll go long here, I'll go long here, I'll go long here. We've got to move up. We've got to make a new extreme. We don't. Most of the time it does it. And it still may. But what I've noticed lately is the market doesn't just have a break and go straight to high. It used to a bit more, but now it goes down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then starts to work high. But doesn't mean the bottom can't fall out of this. There's a failure there, failed second entry long. which triggered taking that stop out. It's not pushing down as quick as it may have done. So you just don't know. I still think we may push up because we haven't come down in a hurry. But you never know. I still wouldn't have taken that either, although I like the bar. And even when it broke where the stops would have been there, it didn't come down in a hurry, did it? So for me, it's still going sideways and it's uncertain. It could shoot up or it could drop like a stone. I got no idea. But when it's like this, I've given up trying to understand it. You can look there and think, okay, let's have a look. Okay, so we've had a break. So I'm looking for longs now. Do I take that long? It's naff. What else can I take long? Okay, let's take long off the bottom. Triggers you, stops you out. Okay, second entry long. Let's take that one. It drops out, pushes up nice and strongly. Excellent. I'll take that one. That'll take us up. What happens? Triggers you out, stops you out. Don't even think about trying to understand it when it's doing this. Mac doesn't trade this. Mac says when it's doing like this, up and down, above the image, choppy, just stay out of it. Don't even try to read it. Sometimes you think I'm inadequate because I don't know what's going on. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter that you don't know what's going on. Wait until you do, and when you do know what's going on, that's when you can start to trade. But I've just given up even bothering to get in on this because it's just not worth it. It's more of a lottery whether you win a trade in there, really. I mean, look at that. You may think, okay, you know, we've exhausted going up in the shorts time now, so we've had that one, we've had that failure. Bar looks really nice, in all fairness. You know, nice type of bar to go short in, but the context is sideways and unpredictable. And what happens? It triggers, goes far enough to trigger that stop out, so the second entry longs get shafted. It goes far enough to trigger the failure. So look how that goes. How accurate is that? How clever is that? That it goes down, takes that out by one tick, and then turns and pushes up, ready to take that failure out. Why? Because it's congested, and when it's like this, it's just like Trap City. So if you'd have think, aha, we've trapped the shorts there, we've trapped the longs there, second entry long triggered, yeah, I'm going to go for this one, it's going to drop like a stone. What happens? Does take them out, but then it triggers you and goes up and takes you out. So when it's sideways like this, take it from me, and I know because I've been trapped that I've lost so much flipping PA accounts and evaluations by trying to trade this and trying to understand it. When it's doing like this, forget it. Put your feet up. Make a cup of tea, but just let it go. Wait for it to start moving back on its way, wherever it goes, up or down, and then trade accordingly. But when it's like that, leave it alone. Yeah, the short's thinking, okay, we got another chance. Nice big bullish bar, triggered, let's go short. And what I've noticed is when the market's like this, it goes down, people take a short. It goes up, people take a long. It goes down, people take a short. It goes up, people take a long. You see what I mean? So if you're waiting for that to push down, you think, I'll go short here. Turns around, goes up. You think, oh, I'll go long here. Comes down, stops you out. I think I'll go long here. What happens? Triggers you, comes down and stops you out. Let's go short here. Triggers you, stops you out. It just goes up, down, up, down, up, down, and taking out longs and shorts and longs and shorts from people putting in weak positions and the experienced traders. You know, the people most of us were maybe a year or two ago. It does though. It just goes up and down, making your life miserable. Every time it goes up, it takes out the shorts. Every time it comes down, it takes out the longs. Yeah, it's not a great day, really. When you see this and you didn't trade, you think, oh, shit, why do I miss all the best days? But in all fairness, it's not a great day, really. I mean, let's look at this logically. What are we doing at the moment? We're chopping up and down. We're in the middle of a range there. It is a second entry long, but so was that one we just looked at, and it stopped you out. We didn't know it was going to do this. Okay, so we push up. We go sideways again. You can't really take that, because you've got a bearish bar there. It could be fading the range. We could be fading this range down here. So you can't take anything here. You go sideways again, nothing brilliant. You may have taken that one, but you're going into you're at the highs. So it's just risky. The only thing I can say worth taking was maybe that one, but I was thinking sideways at the time, and you may have taken a punt on that as well. It looks like a hidden second entry long, but for me, it could trigger and come down to this. I don't like it when it stays above here because it could turn. You can't trade that because it's sideways. You can't trade that, and you can't trade that. It doesn't mean this high or low isn't going to work. But if you take trades in here, you're just going to get your arse handed to you on a plate. And you can hear the frustration in my voice because I can't tell you how many accounts I've lost trading areas like I don't even bother now. But look how these things set up. You think, oh, second entry long, yeah, I like that. Come down, it's rejected, push straight up, triggers you, stops you out. You know what I mean? It could have a second entry long or a higher low trigger in here, but it could trigger you out and come back down. I've got no idea. So I think you got the right idea. Let's call it a day. How long I've been trading for? 3.5 hours. It's one of them days. Now, some people might be more risk averse. Now, if I was trading on a valuation, I do take slightly more riskier trades or slightly more aggressive trades. Sorry, as Mac. So that may have been one. That's one I considered a slightly more aggressive trade. We've had a little channel here, little break maybe, new low, higher low. Not a fan of the stems, but for me, that's not too bad. So that's a slightly more aggressive trade. If I was on a valuation, I'd take that one. I may take that on a valuation. That one I still not a fan of at the moment because we've had one leg down. I just don't know whether it's going to start going sideways. I had my channel tight against there at the time, so you know what I mean? I'm not sure about that. So, but it's just one of those things. You just don't know what's going to happen. One minute it looks bullish, next minute it's bearish. You know, there's people in here still looking for longs thinking we're going up. Well, how many times have we tried to go long and we've struggled? And it just sucks in some longs. Big bullish bar there. What happens? Triggers you. Comes straight back down. It's just a case of up and down every time it goes up and down. It makes people miserable. So that is me done for the day. So no trades, that's fine. I've got no problem with that. At least I can sleep tonight knowing I haven't lost any money. It is frustrating when you see that, but what can you do? I've given up. I've given up, feeling bad about it, I have. But it is quite strange, isn't it? We started really sideways and then just up we go. So I'm going to save my chart. 10th, 23. I save all my charts, I do. Going back 2.5 years there. Okay, brilliant. So, yeah, there does seem to be a leg and another leg. So, I don't know, maybe we're going to come down a bit and then work up. I got no idea, but my dinner's getting warm and I can smell it, so. You know, it is starting for me to lose its upwardness, if you like. So you may have taken that as a higher low. I wouldn't be shocked if that comes down and takes you out. But it does seem to be losing its upward momentum, I think. So you may have taken long there. You may go long there. I think that's going to come down and take out your stops from 2, and that's what the market does. It's very efficient at taking out weak positions. So if you thought, okay, maybe a triple test, it's bounced here a bunch of times, it's got to go up. We've got to go long, we've got to make a new high, we haven't. I wouldn't be surprised if it did just drop. But anyway. That's me done for the day anyway. So yeah, a bit of a odd day. Sometimes you get days like that, but it's how it makes you or breaks you as a trader when you can sit through 3.5 hours and not take a trade. That says a lot. That says a lot for your patience, because that's one of the hardest things to muster is your patience. And I've had so many issues with patience, and I've just finally realised after failure after failure after failure for the last 2.5 years, you just got to let it go. And if you let it go and follow the rules, it works. You can't not work. But but you try telling that to people, and I know because I've I've been that person throwing those accounts down the drain, and I have thrown away tons of them. Tons of them. See what I mean? So it's thought, come on, get in on me. There we go. We're bullish. We're moving up. Ooh, we got another bar. So there's buyers buying there. Another push up. Oh yeah, here we go. So we've got 2 bullish bars in a row. Let's buy in. Look what happens. It triggers you. Watch. It's brutal, really. And when you get that, you get losses after losses after losses over a period of time, blown accounts. It just pisses you off in the end, and you get to a point where you just think, oh, I'm not arguing with the market. I'm not fighting it. I'm not trying to beat it. I'm not trying to outsmart it. I've just got to wait for it to give me an offering that looks good enough for me to take, and I'm going to take it. That's it. And then I'm just going to let it go by. In fact, I've outsmarted the market today because I haven't fallen for any of its bullshit. So I've won today by, you can't trade any of that. You can't trade any of that. You just can't do it. Because it will just brutalise you. There you go. So if you took that trade or you took that trade, it's just stopped you out. If you took that big bar there and put your stop there, it's just stopped you out. Why? Because weak positions thinking we've got to go long, we've got to go long. And I've been in there. I've been thinking, why isn't it going long? Why does it keep trapping me? And do you know what happens? It gives me a second entry long and I'll do it again. And it'll trigger me and then drop like a stone. When it's sideways like this, stay out of it. You'll never beat the market when it's like this. It's not working. If you decide to start scalping for a tick, then I'd start taking some of these trades, but you just can't do it. Yeah, exactly. But you can see, there you go. So you can see how many people are still going long in there, can't you? And sooner or later, they've all realised, oh, I've just given up. And then what happens? Down it comes. So that's me for the day. I haven't bored you to death, but it is frustrating when you see that because I know exactly what's happening because I've had it happen to me so many times. I'm wise to it now, so I've beaten the market today. I haven't let it, screw me over. So there you go. Range could be a top or bottom as well as just a centre pattern. That's why we need to look. Yeah, you too, mate. You just can't trade that. You're best off just staying out of it. Don't even think you're immature. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to know what's going on. You don't. When it's sideways, it means there's uncertainty. So you've got the experienced traders in not doing anything. Why aren't they buying or selling here? Because it's congested. It's uncertain. You don't want to buy into markets that are uncertain. You want to wait for good setups. So there you go. I'm done. Before I rabbit on too much. So there we go. And that's me. So there you go. So I haven't bored you to death. I hope you have managed to get a bit of green. There is something there, I think. If I was slightly more risky, I might have had a go. But the way things are working for me at the moment, it's working nice. Anytime, Chris, no worries. So I appreciate all your comments. It's nice to have people to chat to or talk to or rabbit on to, whichever way you want to look at it. But yeah, I hope I've given you a little bit of something useful to take away. But just, sometimes when we have these breaks from these big uptrends, you get that focused on going along. You don't even think for a second it could come down because you have it drummed into you, break new extreme, and all of a sudden, the inexperienced traders start jumping in, and then down it comes. So there you go. So I'll be back here again tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get some trades tomorrow, but never ever have a problem with going home on zero. It doesn't mean you've failed. For me, if I go home on zero, that's a result. It means there wasn't anything good enough for me and I've had the patience to stay out of the crap. So this is a result for me. So I'll have a good evening tonight. If I got sucked into the fact that we're going up, but there was no setups and lost, I'd be kicking myself for the rest of the evening. Yeah, you too, mate. You too. So I appreciate your comments. Have a great evening. Stay safe, and I'll be back same time tomorrow. Hopefully, we might have a more productive day. Bye for now.